Team Penske has Will Power, second in the points for the first time in his IndyCar career. Colton Herta is the points leader by 1 point over Power, and Alex Palou's in third place. Colton Herta was very vocal after Newgarden's disqualification over the weekend. He was one of the drivers who publicly said that he wasn't buying this explanation at all. So, Ben, I'm going to ask you this. Is Herta motivated to become the next American champion of the NTT IndyCar Series?
Well, first of all, can we just take a second to admire the point standings here?
We don't have to, Ben.
Well, in light of one of the recent roundtables that we did, in which our friend Alex, who was unable to join the show tonight, but he said Colton Herta might be the weak link at Andretti, and certain somebody on the right side of your screens there said that this guy was potentially getting up there in terms of maybe being the weak link over at Team Penske. And it's so ironic to me that those guys, after 3 races in this series, are first and second in a championship. I mean,
this is the only thing that would happen to us. This is the exact kind of luck that we would have, right?
Hey, it's still early. We'll see. Maybe Karma will come back to fight either of these guys here. But I mean, you can't not acknowledge that in light of the roundtable discussion. But in all seriousness here, absolutely, Colton Herta is very motivated. I think there's a reason why Alex brought him up in terms of somebody you might look at as regardless of whether you think he's the weak link of a team, there is no denying that he had to come into this season performing very well, and he certainly has done that to start the year. Obviously we went through the whole Formula One debate with his super license and everything, and I mean, goodness knows if he wins the championship and gets the full 40 right there, I guess we have those rumors to deal with for the next 3 years. Who knows what's going to happen, with Andretti still trying to get into Formula One. But as for right here, right now, absolutely. I think, at this point, I would be surprised if F1's even on Herta's radar, at least before he were to accomplish an Indianapolis 500 win or an IndyCar Series championship. So I think absolutely he is completely motivated to get one, if not both of those things accomplished in the not too distant future here. And as we see from the standings, he is off to a fantastic start, as is Will Power, of course, who, I won't rub it in too much.
No, if you ever want to feel like you're about to meet God, call a driver washed and then be in the same vicinity of a race where they are very, very good, and then have a meeting with them and then see if they know what you were talking about. That's some great advice from me. Never do that. Will, if you are somehow watching this, which I'm actually every day more convinced you are, I meant it all in. It was an educated guess, and brother, I am bad at math. So we're just going to move on from that for now. But again, season's young. We will see.
And Jackson, just real quick to follow up on that, you did a great job for us these last couple of IndyCar races on site, and great interview with Will Power especially. I just want to put that out there. Go check those out, everybody watching if you haven't already.
We could talk about this so much, but thank you, Ben. I want to say that speaking of personality, I think looking at the way Colton Herta's been talking both online and to the press, wherever this career goes, this guy's going to be so fun as a presenter or an analyst 20, 30 years down the road. But the question, is he motivated to be the next champion? I think everybody is, obviously, but I think there's an outlook on how you approach each season. And with Herta, it seemed like Herta was always racing with the entire season in mind, right? And by that, I mean, okay, I need to win the championship. I'm going to win round 1, and I'm not winning round 1, and I'm crashing out. So I need to go away from the season with a win. So what we saw is both Andretti and Herta, I think, throwing a lot of Hail Marys. And again, we'll see how this goes as the season plays out. But I think long-term, we're seeing potentially a lot of consistency of, you don't need to necessarily you're in a podium spot. You don't need to be necessarily the guy that wins. You're in the top 10. This is great for points. You don't need top 5s. And I think so far this year, it's been a lot of maturing from Colton Herta, whether it's better execution on track, on strategy, and Andretti's done way better in the pits for them. I think it's a lot of different things, but I would for one, and this is nothing being fired at Alex, would not be surprised to see this guy in the championship come September.
Yeah, totally agree with that. I think Colton Herta is one of those drivers who also has something to prove after having two down years. A lot of expectations on him. We've been talking a lot about Colton Herta on our shows the last couple of years, especially with all of the reports and rumors. That if Andretti gets in the Formula One, they're gonna put Colton Herta in one of their cars, and a lot of people really believe that Colton Herta has the talent to be a Formula One driver. But the last couple of years, with some of the things that have happened on the track with him and some of the mistakes, a lot of people begin to have second thoughts about Colton Herta's ability as a race car driver. Well, I'm not going to say not. Well, let me rephrase that. Not as a top race car driver in general, but I guess just a driver who's capable of making it to Formula One. I think Colton Herta want to prove that he's still that guy, and based on what we've seen from him so far this season, I really think he can start to put together these races more and get all these great finishes, and we'll see where he's at later on in the season. We could very well be talking about a Colton Herta championship season. In my opinion, I think he's certainly one of the favorites. And Jackson also wanted to bring up another point about Will Power. It would honestly not surprise me if Will Power, has seen one of our shows, because Will Power is one of those rare drivers who pays very much attention to the media. He's even liked some of our Grid Network posts in the past without being tagged in them. So what does that tell you? Yeah, Will Power, he reads the news in motorsports, and I'm pretty sure he probably watches them as well. So I wouldn't put that past Will Power watching our shows.
Cobe, I scrolled the entire Instagram timeline after Joe said that in the chat, and I was like, he didn't put this in here. He didn't put this in here. He didn't put this in here. And he didn't. But now I thought I was in the clear. And here you go. You're giving me more anxiety in the middle of the show, man. Come on now. But I will say this, and this was cut out, but afterwards, after my interview with him at Long Beach, he was like, what media outlet are you for? And I'm like, Grid Network. And he was like, oh, awesome. I need to check that out. It's just awesome to see like young guys in here. And I just, really want to see what that's all about. And for everyone at home, I'm saying this again, but it's just like, oh, I'm going to die in the next 48 hours. So again, Will, if you're somehow watching this is nothing I swear it's nothing personal. Educated guess, bad at math. Written apology is in the drafts. Keep going.